If you dump out, I should be able to hold it. It says we're live. We're live +7.
Did you ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Shetties?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of negligent. You got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempted criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of negligent. You have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of negligent. Are you a known racketeer?
Welcome to the grand jury. I'm Joe Lanou, your host tonight as we review police use of force incidents through the lens of a grand jury. A grand jury is a jury of your peers that makes decisions on felony offenses as to send to trial or not. My role as the host is to present the evidence, footage, context, and details to our panel of 5 volunteers from the social media platform X. These jurors, ordinary citizens, will decide if the use of force was appropriate or warrants criminal charges using the probable cause and the reasonable person standard. Let's meet this week's volunteer jury. I want to start with Advocate for Education, Alex. She's our foreman for the night. But Alex, introduce yourself and we'll go down the row. Alex is a little bit shy. She just left the room on us. Let's go to Mayhem. Mayhem from X, introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Mayhem. You can find me on X, Mayhem Mr. _38. A little bit about myself. I was in the military for 11 years.
Thank you, Mayhem. Let's go to Peter.
Yeah, my name is Peter. I'm from New Jersey. I like sarcasm, snowboarding, and long walks on the beach. And you could find me on X at Mint Temple Petrus.
Long walks on the beach. Okay, we can make this a dating show if you want. Let's see if we can get Alex in here. Alex, you got are you connected to us? Are we having some issues?
Am I in here or am I in the waiting
Sounds
room?
like you're in there.
All
Go,
right.
go ahead with a quick
Sure.
introduction.
Yeah, so I'm Advocate for Education. I'm a single mom of 3 up here in Boston, just trying to do the good fight and save these kids and get the filth out of our schools. So, yeah, I'm excited to be here. First time.
Outstanding. Let's see. We've got an expert witness tonight. Let's meet tonight's expert witness, and that's Jason with 3D Response. He's a 30-year veteran of law enforcement. But welcome, Jason, and thanks for sitting as an expert witness tonight.
You bet this is fun. 30 years, school cop, drug task force, lieutenant, sergeant, patrol, kind of have the gauntlet of law enforcement. Been involved in a few pretty shootings and whatnot, and also did IAs for a while too, investigating officers as well when complaints came in. So this will be fun.
Now, one of the things that makes you a good expert witness is that not only are you law enforcement with a lot of experience, but you've got experience as a supervisor. So you look at these types of situations in a critical eye, which is good to have you on board, and we appreciate you. So we also have a producer tonight. That's Big Ron. Big Ron will present media and keep us on time. I tell you what, Ron, give us a definition of a grand jury. This is for our panel and our viewers out there, but give us a definition of a grand jury. That it's just that simple, folks. You're looking for a standard of probable cause, and I'll give you the definition of that using a reasonable person standard, and I'm about to give you a definition of that. In fact, Big Ron, give us the definition. And we can bring these back up for you guys whenever you need, but that's the standard of a reasonable person is what would a reasonable person believe, or how would a reasonable person react in being presented with the same set of circumstances that the accused is, or the suspect will call in this case in a grand jury, because I guess they're not technically, well, they're accused. You're going to, the purpose of your job tonight is to formally accuse them. But you're going to also use probable cause. It's a much lower standard than you see with a regular jury. A jury that you're in a criminal trial, the standard there is beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's going to be the state or the defense, whoever, however you decide as a jury, that is going to convince you well enough that you're going to sleep like a baby at night. Your decision is not going to keep you up. It's beyond a reasonable doubt that the person was not guilty, or it was beyond a reasonable doubt that the person was guilty. That's the standard for a jury trial. For this case, on a grand jury, the standard is probable cause. It's one of the lowest levels. It doesn't take much. It's almost like I'll take beef over chicken at the wedding on the RSVP. But you're going to use some of the elements of the law. Have we seen probable cause? Big Ron? A set of circumstances that would lead a reasonable person to believe that a crime has been committed, and a set of circumstances and facts that would lead a reasonable person to believe that the accused is the person responsible for said crime. You're not saying for sure that a crime has occurred. You're not saying for sure that the person is guilty. You're saying that there is enough evidence that a reasonable person would say, send it to trial and let a jury of 12 determine it under the beyond a reasonable doubt clause. All right, let's go over our format tonight. This is not a real grand jury. This is for entertainment purposes only. So we're going to have to structure it, and we do that with three phases. The first is a presentation. For each case, we will have a presentation phase. We will look at evidence, including video footage of the incident, an examination phase where jurors can question the expert witness and review previously presented evidence like video. If you want to go back and look at something, the examination phase is the time to do that. It's the time for the grand jury to ask questions. You can ask questions of law of myself. You can ask questions of our expert witness, or you can go back and review the evidence that's already been presented to you for a closer look. Once that's done, we're going to go into the deliberation phase. That's led by the jury foreman, Alex. And you're going to get three questions. I'll have them up in just for, in fact, Big Ron, could you put those up, deliberation on the overlays? But under the deliberation phase, it's going to be led by your jury foreman, which is tonight is Alex. The jury has 10 minutes to discuss, debate, and vote on whether to issue a true bill or a no bill finding in the cause. In other words, to indict someone for trial or no bill them in whatever you're dismissing the accusation against them. So yes or no, basically. Let's see if I can get that overlay up here for you. This will be available for you while you deliberate. These are the three questions that you're going to want to answer for each one of these. One, because everything we're looking at tonight is law enforcement. When we get into regular types of situations, you may have more questions, but for law enforcement stance, it's actually this simple. Did the officers have legal authority or believe in good faith that they had legal authority to make contact with the citizen concerned? Whoever citizen they made contact with, do they have legal authority to do that? Number two, did the officers act reasonably with the information available to them at the time force was used? And it's real critical, not 1 second after the time force was used, because they're only going to be judged. You're only to judge them on the information that was available to them that they knew or should have known, a reasonable person would have known when they make the decision to use force. So that's number two. Number three, was it reasonable that the officers believed the force was necessary and lawful? If the answer for all three of those is yes, then you must return a no bill. If one of those is no, you must return a true bill, which is actual formal charges being processed against the accused and they go to trial. Okay. Got a couple of rules. Jurors may only consider evidence presented here. No Google searches. If you see a case tonight that you've seen something on before, I'm going to ask you that you only make your deliberation off the evidence that's presented here. You must use the reasonable person standard. You must use probable cause, a level of proof, which is more likely than not a crime has occurred and the actor is responsible for said crime. And we're going to use Texas laws as a legal lens to view these incidents, regardless of where it may have occurred, for no other reason to keep it simple. Okay, folks, do you have any questions before we begin with our first case of the night? I got positive nods. in the jury box?
Good to go.
All set.
Fidgy, do you have something?
Yeah, we didn't hear from DP when he introduced. We missed his intro.
Did we miss DP's
Sorry.
intro? DP, go ahead, sir.
We did.
My apologies if I skipped over you.
Oh, that's all right. I'm King DP. I'm widower, and my passions are outdoors and photography. You can find me on X at DewsPop 2017.
Thanks for that catch there, Fidgy. I think I skipped right over him, but it sounds like him and Peter, if they could get their long walks in the park or long walks on the beach together, that there might be something there. We'll talk about that later. Well, without that,
sounds wonderful.
3 options for chat. Yeah, we have 3. By the way, we do have 3 options to chat. Guys, we're on YouTube tonight. We're on live on Rumble, and we're live on X. You can catch us on all 3 of those platforms. And I would appreciate it even if you just go by and give me a subscribe or a follow on either one of those. It would help us out quite a bit. Well, with all that, let's get started with our first case. This is case number 1.
At 9:15 p.m., a Newport Beach police officer dressed in full uniform and operating a marked police vehicle was traveling eastbound on West Coast Highway. The officer stopped at a red light in the number 1 lane at the intersection of Superior Avenue and West Coast Highway when he noticed a motorcycle was also stopped at the red light in the number 3 lane. The motorcycle then continued through the intersection, disregarding the red light. The officer initiated a traffic stop and the motorcycle pulled over on West Coast Highway east of Superior Avenue. The motorcycle rider, pictured here, was later identified as Jeffrey Shyam Sterling. After the stop, the officer exited his vehicle and approached Mr. Sterling on foot. As he neared, Mr. Sterling got off his motorcycle. The officer issued multiple commands instructing Mr. Sterling to sit down, but he failed to comply. The officer then radioed for backup, and at that moment, Mr. Sterling advanced toward the officer and a physical altercation occurred. During the altercation, Mr. Sterling struck the officer several times in the head and then removed the officer's taser from his duty belt. At one point, Mr. Sterling placed the taser against the back of the officer's head. The officer was able to break free, and as Mr. Sterling pointed the taser at him, an officer-involved shooting occurred. You are about to see relevant body-worn camera footage of the interaction between the Newport Beach Police Department officer and Mr. Sterling. Body-worn cameras are worn at chest level by officers in the patrol division and provide a general perspective from that viewpoint. Due to the camera's positioning, viewers may not see everything the officer sees and experiences. Factors such as lighting, movement, and distance can impact clarity and quality of the footage. In addition, each patrol vehicle is equipped with a secondary camera mounted on the front windshield, which is synced with the officer's body-worn camera. The following is dash camera and body-worn camera footage that is directly related to the incident previously described. Some of the content you're about to see may be disturbing and is not suitable for children and sensitive viewers. When an officer uses force, whether during an arrest or in defense against an attack, the footage can be graphic, including strong language, and be emotionally difficult to watch.
The plate is 26 Foxtrot 7064. You okay?
Yes, I haven't been drinking all fully sober. I'm just trying to stay safe. People have been almost hitting me all day, sir.
What's that?
People have been almost hitting me all day. I'm trying to
Okay. You want to come over here and just take a seat right here?
No, I don't want to sit
Okay,
right
just
there.
I'm telling you, take a seat right here. Come here.
I don't care if you're telling me what you're telling me to do.
26, I'll take a code 1. Sit down, dude. Stop. Come here. Get off the bike.
No.
Sit down.
No.
Sit down, dude.
I don't wanna
Come
sit
here.
down. I don't want to sit down or come here. No.
26, he's uncooperative. Come here, dude. Sit down. Don't get back on your bike. Don't get back on your bike. Sit down.
I'm tired of you guys harassing me.
Dude, you ran a red light. Just sit down and we'll figure it out, okay? Sound Gil? What's your name? What's your name?
Here, I'll show you my ID. I'm here. Don't shoot me.
I'm not gonna shoot you. Don't reach for fucking shit. How about that? Sit down, dude. We'll figure it out.
I don't want to sit down.
Okay, well, you're gonna sit down.
No, I don't want to sit down.
You're being detained right now. You're not free to leave. You're not free to get back on your bike. You're gonna sit down for me.
I have an ID. Can I get my ID?
No, just sit down over here.
I don't want to sit down over there. I don't have an ID.
Okay,
and I don't want to
sit down, dude.
No.
You ran the red light. You're
No.
pissing yourself.
No. I don't want to sit down over there.
G6, just have them step it up. Stop it!
Seconds after the officer-involved shooting, additional officers arrived on scene and formulated a plan to take Mr. Sterling into custody and begin administering medical aid. A few minutes after the shooting, the Newport Beach Fire Department arrived on scene and took over medical treatment. Mr. Sterling was transported to a nearby hospital where he passed away. The officer was later treated and released from a local hospital for injuries sustained during the incident. It is important to note that there was a civilian police employee on a ride-along at the time of this incident who remained in the vehicle and uninvolved.
Okay, there's your video for that. We've lost Jason, it looks like. Let's get Jason back up. We're all screwed up. Okay, folks, there's your video. Do we have any questions, anything we want to examine? I'll try to get Jason up and see if Jason can make some comments on this.
I have a question.
God.
If you got tased in the head, what kind of damage would that be life-threatening?
Jason, did you see the video? Can you make a comment on that? Or do you want me to?
No, it depends. I mean, it's not gonna life-threatening from a taser. There's elements that like water, pepper spray being used and other aspects, but taser is considered less lethal. You can get killed from a taser, but a headshot I've not seen anything that has resulted in death.
Forget about tasing the head. If he tases him, he loses control. He can then take control of his gun and then execute him.
Let's leave that for the deliberations. Just let's go to
Sorry.
questions and go back to points of the video that we want to watch. Any points in the video that we want to see?
Could we see the point where he gets off the bike and addresses the officer?
The first part of the stop?
No, well, let me say this. I want to see the part where the aggression just began.
Fully sober. I'm just trying to stay safe. People have been listening to me all day, sir.
What's that?
People have been almost hitting me all day. And I'm trying to
Okay, you want to come over here and just take a seat right here?
No, I don't want to sit
Okay,
right
just
there.
I'm telling you, take a seat right here. Come here.
I don't care if you're telling me what you're telling me to do.
G6, I'll take a kill one. Sit down, dude. Stop. Come here. Get off the bike.
No.
Sit down.
No.
Sit down, dude.
I don't wanna
Come
sit
here.
down. I don't want to sit down or come here. No.
G6, he's uncooperative. Come here, dude. Sit down. Don't get back on your bike. Don't get back on your bike. Sit down.
I'm tired of you guys harassing me.
Dude, you ran a red light. Just sit down and we'll figure it out, okay? Sound Gil? What's your name? What's your name?
Here, I'll show you my ID. I'm here. Don't shoot me.
I'm not gonna shoot you. Don't reach for fucking shit. How about that? Sit down, dude. We'll figure it out.
I don't want to sit down.
Okay, well, you're gonna sit down.
No, I don't want to sit down.
You're being detained right now. You're not free to leave. You're not free to get back on your bike. You're gonna sit down for me.
I have an ID. Can I get my?
Did you want to see this all the way through? Have you seen the part that you wanted to see, or do you want to go back and see it again?
That part is just fine. I appreciate it.
Okay. Any more questions from the jurors? Alex?
Is there a way to see the part when he pulls out the taser again, but zoomed in a little bit more? I know that there's a quick zoom to be able to see a little
I
better.
won't be able to make it any closer than what it is now, but there is a point where this two actions are highlighted. One where he removes the taser, the other when he holds the taser to the gentleman's head or the officer's head.
Joe, can you go to point of contact where the aggression is about to ensue, where there's a turn and then it's on?
Just having to step it up.
Yeah, can you start that again and slow it down a little
You're
bit?
pissing yourself.
No, I don't want to sit down over there.
2-6, just having to step it up. 2-6, just having to step it up. 2-6, just having to step it up. 2-6, just having to step it up.
Okay, I want to bring up a point here in case you did not notice it. The officer goes to the radio, steps it up. Watch what the suspect does when he turns his head to talking his lapel on. Or his
Joe, I'm having trouble hearing you over the video.
2-6.
What I want you to look at is what the suspect does when the officer turns his head to talk into his mic, when he turns his back.
Could you slow it down a little for that part?
I can't slow it down. It's a video. I can't.
Yeah, so Joe, I see it. He looks like as soon as he turns to move another way, when he's distracted, he looks like he's about to go at him and attack him.
The suspect takes a step and a half towards him and only stops when the officer turns back to him and confronts him. You can't see it in the lapel and the lapel camera as well as you can see it in the dash cam because his arm is covering the lens while he's talking on the radio. But the suspect makes movement towards the officer there.
Yeah, you could see the officer turn, blade his body to talk on the radio, and then that's when he approaches.
Okay. Any Advocate, you got a fan out there. B says, is that my friend Advocate? Yes, it
is.
Any part of the video that we want to see again? I can't get you enhanced magnification, and I can't slow it down in slow-mo.
I'm good with what I saw.
Me too.
All right, we ready to deliberate?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Ready.
All right. Well, here's your clock. And there are your instructions, Foreman. Take it over. Answer these 3 questions.
All right, y'all. Proposed bill of indictment. So the first part is, did officers have legal authority or believe in good faith to make contact with citizen concerned?
I vote yes.
Yes.
I do too.
I do too.
All right, me as well. Do we want? All right, that was pretty easy on that one. So that's a yes. Now, number 2, did the officers act reasonably with information available to them at the time force was used?
I vote yes.
I mean, he did take the steps towards the officer. We saw that pretty clear, and he wasn't very cooperative in terms of listening, getting off the bike, and sitting down. I say yes as well. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree with those reasons as well, right? He's not agreeing with any commands. He's being combative. He's saying no, no, no. And not only that, he's taking an advancing step in a aggressive action towards the officer. So I think the officer is justified at that point to engage the suspect and control the situation.
He was given several lawful orders, and he refused. And what started, in my opinion, the tension was right at the initial stop. That's why I wanted to see the front part again, where the combativeness started. And is right there, he raised his antennas and knew he had a problem. So I vote yes on that one too.
The suspect was very hostile at the beginning of the traffic stop, so yes.
All right, number. You're good, Fidging? Yes.
I'm good with that. The you know, from the beginning, he was not taking orders. I don't know if the officer expected him to lunge at him, but it doesn't really matter because that's what he did, and he was combative to begin with.
I agree. I thought it was very interesting too. One of the, first things he says is, I'm fully sober, but that people have been hitting me all day. Yeah.
Well, something was wrong there when he was peeing himself. That was strange.
All right, so
it seemed like he was under the influence of some type of substance.
I would agree on that one. All right, so that's all yeses. Now, number 3. Was it reasonable that the officer believed force was necessary and lawful?
I vote yes on that, simply because, or not simply, but because he was struggling with him. He was giving verbal commands to stop. Struggle ensued. He then takes control of the officer's taser. At that point, once he has control of the taser, if he hits him with that taser, he could, put him out of commission and then take his weapon and kill him, or do something else to him. So I vote yes there.
I agree. Whenever a suspect does have control of lethal weapons or has means to take control of lethal weapons, such as the officer's weapon, that taser will enable that officer vulnerable to anything. Whenever he lunged, and of course, whenever he didn't obey commands, that's always the first signal. But whenever action ensued, the officer's antennas were already up, so he was ready for just about anything that happened. I think he actually knew that there was going to be violence at the start, to be honest. So, yes, I vote yes on that one.
Fidgy.
Yeah, I'm thinking this whole thing could have been avoided if the guy just said, "Hey, I ran the red light." I understand, but yeah, the officer was completely legitimate in my view.
I'm not going to repeat it, but what everyone said, but I concur, so I'm a yes.
If he just would have took a seat, all he had to do was take a seat. He wasn't even amenable to that.
Well, how many times have everyone's done this at least once or twice, where you're watching a light and you kind of zone out for a second and you, like the turn light turns green or something, and you start to go and don't realize your light didn't, and then you're just like, man, that happens, Luckily, I didn't get hit or hit someone. I think officers understand that.
Definitely reasonable for what happened. The suspect grabbed his taser, put it toward his head. And that was the first one. And you're not going to get a second strike. Then he pointed the taser at the officer, which puts it in a position of, me or you. And it is a life or death situation because we don't know what would have happened with that taser. So I vote yes on that.
And the thing is the officer did have probable cause. The motorcycle ran the light. So it was that probable cause right there that began this whole cycle of events.
Yeah, just from that, it's a good stop.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I mean, it was clear as day, at least from what I saw in the video. I think the officer was completely justified and within the realms of the law. So we're all in agreement on number 3 as well, correct? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, Corbin, do you have a decision?
Yes, we do.
And it's going to be a what? True on all three counts makes it a what? No bill, right?
Yep.
No bill, no formal charges. The officers move on to enforce the law another day. There we go. Let me get that removed. Let's go to our second case. Really, this is going to be case number 3. I'm changing the order for a reason. If we can get to the fourth one, I'll do number 2, but I think number 3 is better. So let's go to cause number 3, we'll call it.
Son, so you don't.
No, that's not happening. If you're gonna come here and tell me that, you guys can all.
You have a stay away over protection with him, dude.
Right.
I don't want to get in a fight with you, especially with your son in your hands. All right.
It's not gonna happen.
Your mom's coming.
All right, come on. Let's go.
We're not coming. We're not coming. All right. Hey, dude, stop. You're gonna do this to yourself. Hey!
You got him. Oh, fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands.
All right, stop. Let me go. Come on, you son. Corey, stop.
Control 20 says 3485 shots fired. 34 Cook Road. There's help.
Stop. I'm not doing nothing. Right for your son.
Dude.
I called
Corey,
you're
Corey,
shot.
can you stand me up?
You're shot. I gotta help you.
Okay, just let me stand up. No. I'll roll over and help me stand up. You back up.
Hi, buddy. What are you doing? You okay? Can you stay over here for me?
Let me stand up.
Can you sit here, okay?
Stop. Get down. I'm gonna handcuff you. They were gonna send you. Call an ambulance.
I think they did.
Okay.
384 Patrol. Can you have an ambulance this morning?
Don't want to hurt you, bud.
Are you okay?
100%, dude. Never connected with anything.
Alright, so grab it on, man. Stop, Corey. No, stop, dude.
I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. You gotta just see what the hell's going on.
There's our video. We have any points in the video we want to go back to, or do we have any questions for our expert witness, Jason, on this one?
Yeah, Joe, I have a question on Jason. When the struggle ensues, did the person being served with the order of protection, the suspect, did he have a weapon on him? Did he reach for a weapon? Did he try to grab some of the officers' weapons? What was going on where the deadly force before deadly force was put forth?
I actually have the same question. I didn't see that.
Let's go back to the video. Maybe that's a question for video. Let's go see if we can find that spot there.
Do we only have this officer's body cam? We don't have the other officer's body cams?
think
I had that same thought.
This is, folks, I get what's released. And I don't cure it. This is exactly what was released from the agency. This is what I show. So the only views we have are the views that I've shown you. I think we're seeing there's two different video body cams. We want to be on the first one, I think. He swings a. What about this, Jason? Your cam falls off and it's shooting up instead of like pointing down. That's unusual in of itself. So this is the first body worn cam in the struggle. It's fallen down. And it's pointing straight up into the scrum.
Is he still holding his child in his hand there?
No, the child has been removed
Okay.
from his possession at this point.
I can tell now.
This is at his place of business or his house?
Home.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, is it short enough with time? Can you just play it again on him? It wasn't very long.
Do we know if this was the first time he was served with an order like this before? If law enforcement was, if they knew of him or dealt with him?
Now, it was a 911 call for a welfare check and to serve the suspect, Miles Digning, whatever his name is, with an order of protection. But the order of protection was for the child. He was not supposed to have custody or be near the child. So keep that in mind when you watch this. They're
Right, so they're there to remove the child, right?
Well, if he has an order of protection against him, then he can't be holding that kid. Law
Right.
enforcement,
Yeah.
once he's served and has notice, and that's what they're telling him, there's a notice. Once you're served, from beyond that point, now that you know, you can't be around the child. And of course, they're not going to leave the child there. So
Right.
Before we take this with the video here.
Come on, I'm coming.
All right, come on. Let's go.
We're not coming. We're not coming. All right. Hey, dude, stop. You're gonna do this to yourself. Hey!
got him.
Holy fuck. What the fuck? What the fuck? Give me your hands. Give me your hands. Give me your hands. All right, stop. Let me go. Come on, you son. Get the fuck out. Stop. Stop. Corey, stop.
Did you see the swing? Let me see
Yeah,
if I
what
can
did he
back
swing? A weapon? Was that like a baton or?
It's a tool of some sort.
Yeah. So she's got the taser ready. Why didn't she blast him?
Let's watch the clock on it. So you're right. She's got the taser. She's moving in to probably do a drive stun since there's so many officers there. The spread on the leads. I think drive stun. What do you think, Jason? That would be the tactic to try to use.
I'm putting the taser away, but okay.
I'm saying she has it out. I don't think she's going to try to deploy a snapshot.
She just get closer and drive stun on the thigh or something.
So my point is she's moving into drive stun here is what her tactic is. Whether you agree with it or not, I think that's what she's doing. Once he starts swinging the wrench, I think the taser's, they've determined the taser's not.
348506, 4 shots fired, 34 Cook Road. There's help.
Okay, everything after this is restraint and aid. Remember, the man did die of his wounds. Any part of that we want to go back and look at? We've seen the point where the suspect swung the wrench. I believe actually strikes an officer, minor injuries, but strikes an officer. He goes back to the corner or near the door of the garage, still with a wrench or the tool in his hand, and that's when he's shot by law enforcement. Any questions for our law enforcement officer? Any other points of the video that you'd like to see?
Yeah, do we have any testimony from the officers that were involved about what was occurring when he swung the wrench, and then was he potentially going for a second swing or reaching for another weapon?
The state's contention on this, for the purposes of deliberation tonight, is that the suspect maintained control of the weapon that he'd already struck one officer in the head with, and was continuing the fight as he made his way towards the door on assaulting the other two officers.
So an officer was struck in the head with the wrench or the weapon?
Correct.
Okay.
And once again, they were there to serve an order of protection, an order by a court saying that he couldn't be around the son that was in his hands.
I don't have any other questions.
Anyone else on the panel? Are we ready for deliberations?
I am.
I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm good.
Ready?
There's the clock.
Ready.
Boy, I tell you what, my producer is top notch tonight. Just letting everybody know.
All right. Everybody, let's begin. Proposed bill of indictment, first part. Did officers have legal authority or believe in good faith to make contact with citizen concerned? I say yes, they had to serve an order of protection and remove the child from the home.
I agree. Yes.
Yes.
For what you stated.
Yes.
I agree. He was there, and he had authority to confront the gentleman, and he did have the evidence, quote unquote, the child in his arms in his protection order. So yes.
All right, we got a yes for one. Number two, did the officers act reasonably with the information available to them at the time force was used?
This is a tough one for me because I don't know that they needed to go deadly force. I mean, the wrench could kill you, right? You already hit one person in the head, but it was 3-on-1 at that point. So maybe the officers could have used OC spray or their baton. I'm struggling with having to go right for deadly force from the hit with the wrench.
I agree. I mean, obviously he was not compliant.
Let me break in and caution the jury that the standard to use is what a reasonable person would have believed at the time deadly force was used, not afterwards. So keep that in consideration when you're doing this. Was the threat? Would a reasonable person believe that someone was themselves or a third party could be substantially a serious bodily injury, injured, or killed with the weapon in the way it was used or the instrument in the way it was used? And go ahead. Sorry to break in, but remember, it's the reasonable person standard.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe. I'm glad you chimed in with that. Based upon what you said, applying that standard, then I'm going to have to say yes, it was reasonable.
And it wasn't. I'd like to chime in on that. That it wasn't just that he had a wrench. Look at the environment where he was. He could pick up. There were so many things he could pick up, and he did pick up. He picked up something. If he wasn't subdued immediately, I think that he could pick up something else. You're giving him way too many opportunities, and one of those things could be like a chainsaw chain, or a saw blade or something like that. So I think they did.
Well, even to your point, even if he just stays with the wrench, I mean, a wrench to the temple, that could cause swelling and you could be dead from that. So based upon the reasonable person standard, then yeah, I'd say yes.
As far as shooting the guy over that, I mean, like I said, it's 3-1. Reasonable force. I'm still struggling on that after all these explanations. All the dude was doing, of course, he swung a wrench. I get that, but the lady officer had her taser out. Should she have used it? In my humble opinion, I think so. I think she kind of might have chickened out and caused the escalation to go to deadly. I don't know. I'm still struggling on that.
I have
But
to agree with
tasers
you on
don't
that.
always work either. I mean, like, I know someone in this room is smiling about me saying that, but he had a coat on and he had several layers of clothing there. The taser might not have made contact where it would have worked.
Joe, read the reasonable person standard again.
All right, for
Or
this,
ju-
stop the clock. That
A reasonable person refers to a hypothetical individual who exercises average care, judgment, and objectivity in evaluating evidence. This standard is used to assess whether the evidence presented establishes probable cause. The reasonable person standard assumes a level of common sense and impartiality free from extreme bias and emotion when the grand jury determines whether. Okay.
hang on, I'm going to put that up for you again on a loop. Reasonable person standard.
He's just rerunning it, so we can discuss it while.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the last gentleman who spoke, it was troubling in the beginning, but then if you think about it, I mean, this guy could have killed somebody with that wrench, and so, I don't. Does the officer have to step in and put risk serious bodily injury from that weapon before he decides to neutralize the threat? A reasonable person standard, I would say no. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to put the risk, his life or the other individuals that are there's lives before he uses the deadly force and escalates to that force.
I can agree with what you're saying there, especially where there were three other
And let me caution
individuals.
you, some key parts about that to reasonable person standard is that you're making this decision on a hypothetical person without bias or judgment. And when we talk about whether there were three there, they could have done something different. So I want to caution you on that. That there may have been other options, but you're not looking at that. You're looking at the option that they did choose. Was it lawful? Because now we have a homicide. You're looking at justifiable homicide or justifiable use of force that causes death. And
so sorry about that. So looking at the video, he was uncooperative the whole time. So that, imposes hostility. And then he took the opportunity to grab a wrench and swing it, and he did hit an officer with it. And just think, any inches to the left or to the right, that officer could have been, like Peter said, he could have been hurt, have swelling damage to the brain. So for me, with all that going on, I'm sorry, I have to vote yes, that they were reasonable to do the shooting, because their life was actually threatened with that wrench, because it's a piece of metal steel that does great damage to flesh.
I agree. I think it was reasonable and lawful.
Yep, I vote yes.
I know we're talking about. Yeah, I know we're talking about a wrench, but if you put a knife in his hand, would you still feel that? Would anyone still feel that they weren't being reasonable? I mean, it doesn't really matter. The weapon is my point. So, if it was a knife or something, if that was you in the position, even with two other people, you might not trust. That would be a very dangerous situation. The wrench is really no different.
I agree with you on that. I actually hadn't thought of it, but yes, that's a very good point. Gee.
So
also a wrench is considered a deadly weapon.
So he swung the wrench, and more aggression ensued, and then got shot.
He swings the wrench. He cracks him with the wrench. He falls to his side. I think maybe like 3 seconds later, you hear shots go off. Right, so he swung, he hit. He's lining up to take another swing. He's in the movement to be able to hit him again, and that's maybe when shots go off. It's hard to see because the body cam is covered up after he bounces off of swinging the first time.
Yeah, right there is where I'm having my problem with. Between that and multiple officers there, man, it's preserve life at all costs.
All right, Foreman, you've got 3 minutes, and I want to give another piece of advice that you're looking for a majority vote. 3 votes, one way or another, makes the decision, so it doesn't have to be unanimous.
So yeah, so and just to give you another piece of information in regards to that, it's a reasonable person, right? So does the reasonable person have to act to always preserve life, or do they have to act as a reasonable or average person would in the face of being hit with a wrench and maybe potentially saving the other 2 people that are there from serious bodily injury or death from being hit with that wrench?
I understand that tensions are extremely high, and like I said in the previous case, the officers' antennas are straight up. They're alert to anything. Gosh, this is a tough case.
Well, what do we have right now vote wise? I'm a yes vote for number 2. Where else? Where are we at?
I'm a yes. Digi?
I'm a yes on number 2. It's okay, DP. Don't be peer pressured.
No, I'm not peer pressure.
What about mayhem?
Wait, hold on, Figgy.
I voted yes for this.
Okay. Who was that just said it?
Mayhem.
Fidgy, I just want to clarify. You said that you're voting yes, and then you said number 2. You mean for number 3, correct?
Oh, are we on 3? Okay, I'm sorry. I thought we were still on 2. Yeah, I do. I still vote yes on number 3.
So, all right. Just wanted to clarify that. Didn't want anything to go sideways. So who are we missing? That's all of us, correct?
I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. So that's another yes. So we have 3 yeses. Yes for number 1, yes for number 2, and yes for number 3. So it looks like we are sticking with no bill and no charges.
Very good. I'm going to commend you guys on your deliberations. I think it's very similar to what you would see in a real jury, going back and forth, cutting it up and having discussions amongst yourselves. I'm pretty impressed. Could be the best jury we've had so far. But you still have a couple of cases. You can still screw it up. So let's go to case number 4. Case number 4, Cottonwood, Arizona.
Tell me exactly what happened.
My husband's raging. He's throwing things, and I don't feel safe right now with him here.
Okay, and I want to confirm, has anything been physical tonight?
He's just throwing. He's trashing my room.
Okay, but has he thrown anything at you?
He threw it at the doors and stuff. I'm outside the door. I'm outside right now.
Okay.
I don't feel safe going near him right now.
Okay. And I know you said he's throwing things. What is he throwing?
Like everything. Like everything.
Okay.
All right. He's damaged the door. It looks like.
Okay. My partner's already got some help started, okay? I'll just stay on the line with you until...
Okay, I'm just standing outside, and...
You're standing outside?
Okay. Yeah, and he's in a closet. It's like a bathroom with a closet, a big walk-in closet, and there are guns in there, but I don't think he would do anything. They should probably know that.
Okay. Do you know what kind of guns they are?
They're big. I don't. They're my husband's into them. I'm not. They're big guns.
Are they like handguns or like shotguns?
We got a little of everything. We got everything.
Okay.
Right here, right? What's his name?
Hey, David? 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 David, can you come out and talk to us? David?
Who was all in the house? You and the kids?
With dementias and they're my adult son's there.
Hey, David, we just want to talk, man. Can you come out so we can see you? Is this your adult son?
Can you come out?
I want to get everybody out of the house just in case.
I can't my dad is
Just hang out with your mom in the garage, please.
David, can you come out and talk to us?
David, your family's concerned about you. We're here to help you. Come on out. Barricaded.
He's barricaded at this point. David! Can you come out and talk to us?
David, I don't want to have to treat this as a barricaded subject. Come on out civilly. We don't want to have to call the SWAT team out. Everybody's concerned about you, bro. Come on out. Yeah, we're going to have to get everybody out. Call a barricade.
Hey, Mike.
I'm going to hold on the door.
Hey, how's it going, sir? Is there any way we can get you out of the house? Is there any way that we can get that accomplished? We're just having an issue with David. He's not coming out.
673. We're going to treat this as a barricaded subject. Can you have the 629 give me a call for a SWAT call out? Gun. 673, shots fired.
Shots fired. Subject down, subject down. Shit.
It's all right.
Okay,
I'll cover you.
okay.
This is a DRT status. That is dead right there.
No, stay there, sir. Stay there, stay there.
673, roll medical, please.
Gun. 7-6, shots fired, shots fired.
Okay, that's the evidence for this case. Does anybody have portions of the video they want to see? Questions for our expert witness?
Okay, Joe, can you go? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Peter. Is there any way we can replay from where he walks out of the bathroom? I just want to make sure you get a clear shot of that shotgun. I know it says it in the report, but I just wanted to make sure I see what I'm seeing.
Who says gun too? Is it the camera 1 or 2?
I believe the point of view that you're on the first body worn camera.
Okay, so the shooter, the officer that fires, is the one who says gun.
Right. I'm going to run it with audio.
Okay.
Gun.
Yep.
Gun. Gun.
Joe, I think camera 2
You
has
can
a
see
better
it
angle
and
for
it
the
drops it
shotgun.
right there, or that he has something in his hand.
It's a
Long.
shotgun.
Yeah. Or you could, at the first time I didn't catch it when we watched it at first.
Yeah, I think camera
But
2
no,
has a
I see
better
it.
angle. Oh. Yeah.
You can see the barrel.
His arm kind of
Yeah.
obstructs it a little bit until he moves it.
Well, it also says in the report that they heard a shotgun racked. Is there any sensitive sound
Oh, there it is.
captures that we could listen
I'll go
if we
back
hear
and
that?
I'll go back and try to find that. There was something odd. So there was noise coming out of the bedroom. The officer changed his stance, and he didn't see anything first, but something was going on. But does everyone see the shotgun in his arm?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I see it. Yep.
Yes.
And it is a pump
Can I
shot.
ask you a question on that though?
This is
The way he's holding it, could it be fired like that?
All he would have to do is turn. He's go back a little bit, Joe, in the video, like a couple of frames back.
It looks like he comes out holding it, and then once the officer shoots, the angle, or at least in my opinion, that's when he's dropping the shotgun.
Right.
See?
Right.
Well, it looks like when he shot him, that's when he dropped it.
Correct.
We're kind of deliberating. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I'm ready to
I
deliberate.
started it.
Well, there's a good photo of it there. He's got it high in his right arm. You can see the muzzle of the shotgun between the officer's arms. He doesn't release the shotgun until
he's shot.
He's shot. Sorry, let's go back to the prior to that to see if we see any audio or hear any audio of something that sounds like maybe a shotgun being racked. So I'm going to turn the volume up on it again.
There it was.
I heard it.
Have the 629 give me a call for
I heard
call out.
Yeah.
Have the 6 for SWAT call out.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yep.
Okay, does that satisfy everything on the video?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to see anymore.
Jason, do you want to make any comments on this one?
Yeah, I want to answer Fizzy's question right now. When she talked about the holding of the gun, there is case law that covers action versus reaction. And if somebody's holding a weapon in front of you, if they decide to shoot you, your response time will be delayed and you will probably lose that battle. So that is a point that you need to take in consideration, that there is a lethal weapon in front of you that is exposed, and case law will justify action versus reaction.
There's a rule of thumb that you should think of about action versus reaction, that action will always be faster than reaction. So you've got to keep that in consideration, looking at the officer's point of view.
Yeah, Joe, we talk about that in martial arts a lot, right? Like your zone, your personal zone needs to be held, because no matter how fast you're going to be, you're not going to be able to be faster than the person who's attacking you. So the personal zone prevents the attack from hitting you. With hands, I mean.
No, I agree, but action will always be faster than reaction, and the officers in this case were reacting to that. If we're ready to go to deliberations,
we're ready.
Let's
We are ready.
Let's do
All
it.
right, let's rock and
All
roll.
yours, jury.
All right. Proposed bill of indictment. First question. Did the officer have legal authority or believe in good faith to make contact with the citizen concerned? I say yes. The wife called 911, allowed them into the home. He barricaded himself in, was unresponsive. I mean, I believe yes.
I agree.
I
Agreed.
agree.
I agree.
On the report, it also stated that he's in a closet full of guns. So there again, there goes that defend yourself intent. Cops come in with the reaction that there's going to be violence. So yeah, I agree.
And we had the 911 tape, which he says the same thing. He's in a closet full of guns. He's raging.
Yeah, he's angry. he's cocked in the pissed off position, if you will.
Yeah, and that's not a place I would want anybody like that in a closet full of weapons. Like, no. All right, so we're yeses down the board, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Correct.
All right. Moving on to number 2. Did the officer act reasonably with the information available to them at the time force was used?
100%.
I say yes, and the reasoning behind it is he's coming out of the closet or the bedroom, wherever he was in. He's got the gun ready to go, and you don't have to. In my mind, as a reasonable person, if I see a gun, somebody's coming out, they cocked it, and I have information that they're in a psychotic or lunatic episode, I'm not taking any chances.
I agree, and I know I asked that question. To me, when they heard that shotgun, when they heard it be racked, that was, and then he came out. It didn't really matter if he had his hand on the trigger or not. I was just curious. It mattered that he walked out with a cocked shotgun.
And in my mind, it doesn't even have to be cocked, right? I mean, how do you know that he didn't have it ready to rock before he's coming out?
Yep, that's true. He came out with a gun, with something in his hand that was easily identifiable. I think I'm yes on number 2.
There's plenty of commands for him to come out. Coming out, David, that we want to help you. Your family's concerned. If you don't come out, we're going to have to get the SWAT team. There's plenty enough commands for this man to come out. And then during that last part of the conversation, all of a sudden you hear a shotgun rack.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I agree with you on that. I counted, and I believe they said it 7 times. No, to come out, we're concerned. The SWAT team, we're going to barricade, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I agree with everybody on that one. And you're not, anybody who's going to come out of a room and have a gun or any kind of weapon, you're not in sound mind. And it just, I think 100% that they were justified in this. So I'm a yes for number 3 as well. And I'm going to go, we're all set to say that it is, again, a no bill. The officer did have, was well within their rights, or not rights, well within the ability to use the force. So that's our answer.
Whenever you come out of the closet and you've seen the shotgun, knowing it's already cocked, you can shoot a shotgun from hip. I mean, like what was said, all he had to do was turn. So I've got a yes on that one, a definite yes.
All right, I think we're ready, Joe.
So what do we have there for the jury? We have a no bill.
We have no bill.
3 for 3, no bill. All right, folks.
Got to be careful coming out of the closet.
Oh my God, a rubber. Okay.
That had to be Peter.
Oh my God, now I got that song in my head. Okay.
The 911 call too. I guess the guy was being a lunatic, but
and it was also said in chat. I went back and looked at chat, and I just thinking this at the same time is this could have been a suicide by cop.
Yep.
I mean, I just
Good,
think that would
good,
never come
good
out.
call,
The dude
Jason.
was, yeah, the dude was agitated. He was in a closet full of guns and come out with gun, 2 and 2.
You know, I know we already deliberated on this, but there is a point about this. When they told him to come out, like the woman said, he's acting crazy. He's being a lunatic. He sounds like her call made it sound like he was very frantic and manic, right? But when they got there, he was very quiet. He didn't say a word, did he? I didn't hear him say a word.
I was thinking the same thing, and the son was so nonchalant.
That's the only thing that makes me go, but he came out with a gun, so ultimately I'm a no bill. But
and on a grand jury, and you guys are doing very good actually. You don't want to look too deep into it. You want to you're really judging the officers from what they saw up until the point they pull the trigger. Anything they learn after they pull the trigger, you shouldn't consider, because it wasn't a factor in them pulling the trigger. All the information they had available to them and how a reasonable person would have responded to, let's say these weren't police officers. You were a neighbor come over because the wife said, "Hey, my husband's acting crazy. Come talk to Charlie." And you're talking to Charlie outside, and Charlie's talking crazy. He's in there with shotguns. He racks one and comes out the door, and you drop him there. I think that a reasonable person would have been warranted. I think you guys came with the right decision on that. I think a reasonable person would have been warranted to do so. Not that now here's the other thing. Not that a person couldn't have taken another course of action. They could have. They could have run away. The officers could have run away. They have a duty not to, but they could have run away. But they didn't. What you're looking at, the course of action that they chose, would a reasonable person with the same given sets of facts and circumstances chose the same, would have been reasonable to choose the same course of action. And you guys, I think, have nailed it. I think that one 100%. There's other things maybe could have done, but I think you could fault the officer. I think a reasonable person would have had a credible fear for their life or a third person's life with this guy walking out with a shotgun after everything led up to it.
Joe, I'm thinking the same thing, man. When I'm watching that, I'm like, man, I'm not sticking around for some nut job to come out. Like, I'm getting the hell out of there. Like, I'm not an officer at that point, but man, like, this makes it real. That was kind of creepy in there. There's no sound coming out. You're sitting there with your flashlight on, and you got to just be heightened state of awareness, because it's like, he's either going to get you or you're going to get him. That's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, and you got that weirdo kid walking around in the background. I don't get that.
So nonchalant. What did he say? Did anybody hear it?
No, I didn't.
I believe it was audible in the video.
Yeah, you could feel.
But I think my point about the silence is, it would kind of give me a little bit of pause, only because I don't think that the officers acted incorrectly. I don't think that they could have done anything different. But it makes me kind of pause, because you don't know if she called and made a false accusation.
Well, you look what happened too, right? Like, sorry, go ahead.
That's all. They weren't hearing that manicness, so that made it kind of just But I think they acted completely correctly.
Look what happened.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, as quiet as the area was, as quiet as that room was, and then you hear a gun rack. I didn't hear the door open. Of course, it's just, I'm sure it's a pull open slide type closet door of what I've seen. But you hear the gun rack, and then next thing you see is the gun coming through the hallway. I mean, yeah.
And also, he's listening, right? So think about it. He comes out when they say, "All right, we got it. We're gonna call in the SWAT team. We're gonna barricade him," and then he comes out at that point. So it's pretty wild scene.
Yeah, with your nerves frayed, and you hearing the deadly cock and the rack, and you just know instinctively the next move is going to happen is going to be pretty gnarly.
Wait, on the video, did anybody consider that there would have been a jump scare? Because I'm not gonna lie, I thought that he was just gonna jump out at them the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I kind of did.
That's the thing about real life. There's no foreshadowing music. You don't know when bad. They just happen. And so you got to
Right,
be ready for it.
exactly.
Let's get on to. We're going to go back to case number 2. Let's watch this one. This one doesn't have a fatality, but it does have gunplay.
What's the address of the emergency?
840 East Dunn Safeway.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
I have a gentleman in here. He's walking around with a kitchen knife and a bottle of wine. I asked him.
Is he inside the store?
He's inside the store.
Has he brandished the knife to anybody?
No, but I asked him why he was carrying a knife, and he just looked at me and walked away.
Now, just for the male, does he appear to be maybe like mentally unwell?
Seems like it. Yep, he just stares at people.
He's staring at people?
Mm.
Okay.
There's a guy with a knife just walking around, and he has a bottle in the other hand.
Was it the same guy from a while ago?
I'm not sure. Yeah, he's just walking around in the store.
Well, if you add up all the snap between those two, you'd have a -4.
He hasn't done anything, just walking around with a knife? Bring Leslito. Leslito. 2-7, I'm going to be out with the manager. There is going to be a BM walking around with a kitchen knife and a bottle of wine. Do me a favor, ma'am. Can you go that way? Can you guys go that way, please? (153), can you bring the shield, please? Hey, firm. I'm trying to get the employees out. You want to drop the knife for me? Want to drop it? So far, refusing commands. Drop the knife. Hey, can you guys all get out of the store for me, please? Yeah. Everybody, can you guys all get out of the store?
B, let us know if this is the man that followed you into the bathroom in this very same grocery store that you've been to. So the suspect is assaulted a worker in the store, and this is spicing things up. Things are about to get a little more active.
Hey, which way did he go? Hey, buddy, drop it.
Come on,
Drop it, buddy.
Hey, stop. Come
What
on,
are you doing?
no more.
What are you doing?
No more. You're not in trouble, man.
You're not in trouble. They just don't want you back.
You're not in trouble. Come on.
Put the knife down.
What are you doing, bro?
You need to obey our commands.
What are you doing? You know you're gonna get. This is a lot worse, right? We're literally just trying to talk to you. Did he? Hey, what happened? What happened? Did he hit you?
Yeah,
Did he hit you?
I could have used some police about 3 minutes ago.
Drop it.
Drop the knife. Failure to comply with our commands may result
Drop
in
it.
charge.
Hey, you're gonna get tased.
Drop
You're
it.
gonna get tased. Get him, Eddie. You're gonna get tased. Failure to listen to my commands will result in force or deadly force used against
He
you.
hit one of the employees back here, Sergeant Silva. Did he stab you or did he hit you? Did he stab you or hit you?
Drop the weapon.
Drop the knife.
Yeah, he stabbed him that way.
Dodging wine bottles at the Safeway.
Stop! Stop it now! Stop it! Stop! Stop! Stop it! Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Do it, man. Don't do it. 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 You're gonna lose, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? There's deputies everywhere. There's deputies everywhere, man. Just get down on your knees. Just get down. It's over. Just get down. It's over, man. Come on. You want to fight? Well, get down. All right, you're going to lose, bro. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't do it. Stop. You're gonna. 270 shots fired. Get down. Stop. 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 Just stop. Get down. Get down on your knees. Stop. Stay down. Stay down.
Stop! Stop! We want to get you help. I'm going to taser. Hey, stop, okay? Come on, walk up for me. Get on your stomach right now. Hey, get on your stomach. No good. We want to help you. Stop! Get on your stomach. Anybody else got a taser or anything? Get on your stomach. Slippery. Stop! Stop!
Wash the gloves. Wash the gloves.
He's got my camera.
Got a cuff?
Get
Out of the way.
I'm slippery. Anybody got a cuff? Get one cuff here. Stop.
Turn around.
We'll get the arm. We'll get the arm.
Oh, here's a cuff.
Okay, get cuff. Cuff. Go ahead.
Here's another one.
I got the arm.
Come on.
All right.
Turn around.
Are you okay? Yeah.
That's a knife they recovered from the scene that he was walking in around the original complaint. He was walking with a kitchen knife and a bottle of wine, accosting customers.
So maybe he was looking for like a nice piece of brie to have with the wine.
I think he just, he's a chef. He was shopping. I don't see what the problem happens.
He just wasn't wearing the chef hat.
Well, you don't do that in the grocery store. If you want to draw attention to yourself.
That's back at your cardboard box.
Right. Okay. Any questions? Jason, actually, I'm just going to give you an opportunity to make some comments on this. Would you like to make some comments on this video?
I'm not sure if I should. These are one of these videos watching. Inside my blood is boiling at the cops' response, but I'll just leave it there.
Well, we can say that we can come back to that because I have some comments about that too, but I don't want to taint our jury with our opinions, so to speak.
I have a question. When the officers finally were able to get to him and they were trying to handcuff him, did he attempt to bite the two different officers' arms when they were trying to put him in handcuffs? Did anybody notice that? It could have just been the angle for me, but it looks like he goes to try to do that.
Yeah, I did. But I
Okay.
don't think it really matters at that point.
No.
I believe it's
right there.
We're at the point there.
Okay. And then just one other question. The employee, that was him that ran by the camera with something high above his head. Did he hit the employee with a wine bottle in the head or with the knife?
Yeah, he swung that wine bottle. You saw how he wound up and he swung it over his head.
Yeah, okay.
When did he lose the knife? When was the knife gone?
I'm not sure when during this entire here's the spot that you're talking about.
Yeah. So he did already assault
Yellow circle is the
employee.
That's a wild swing.
Yeah, like just bam. Like that's
Yeah, a boy could be a pitcher.
Looks like something out of Resident Evil.
He had the knife then, though, right?
Yeah, he had it. It looked like he had the knife in his left hand and the bottle of wine in his right.
I believe he loses the knife somewhere from parkaying off the cheese aisle and to the wine aisle at that point.
He thought he was a ninja
I
warrior.
always lose
Like,
my
what is
knives
it?
that way.
Any more
I thought he was going to
questions?
start doing some backflips and stuff. I was like, holy crap.
I was thinking it was like parkour.
It was parkour for sure.
Off the,
All right, y'all. Do we have any more questions or want to see anything?
I'm ready for deliberation.
Same.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, Big Ron,
I'm
let's
ready.
put on the clock.
Alrighty, here we go again. Proposed bill of indictment. Number 1, did officers have legal authority or believe in good faith to make contact with citizen concerned?
Yes.
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 I feel like no deliberation is needed on that one. Number 2, did the officers act reasonably with the information available to them at the time force was used?
I have a problem on that one.
Yeah, this is tough. I don't think they needed to use deadly force with their pistols, right? Or the guy with the service weapon. I think at the point where he used the service weapon, the knife was out of his hand, and he was throwing items at them, which they were able to dodge. I think I'm going to vote no on this one.
Anything that's flying through the air becomes a lethal weapon. It depends where it hits you. So as far as shooting,
As
the
state, I'm going to break in and do a point of law on this. Is that a deadly weapon can be anything in the manner that it's used. And I will say that there's evidence in this video how a wine bottle could be used as a deadly weapon.
That's whenever he went after the store employee.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The thing is, he didn't have the knife anymore. So I honestly, deadly force wasn't necessarily used. I get it that they, used tasers. It was ineffective. But after you fire your weapon, you can't really holster it until, the threat is been subdued. Because
But he
it's already there.
continued. He didn't have the knife, right? But he continued to find other objects to, cause harm. He grabbed an end cap display and was trying to use it. Yeah,
So
I'm conflicted.
I have a question for Joe or Jason on the use of force continuum. You're allowed to use one level above with the level of force used against you, correct?
Jason, you want to take that one?
Yes, that's true.
So
And I think they did that.
Yeah, so the question is then, is the bottle being thrown is one level above that on the use of force continuum, use of a firearm?
To answer that question, no. But then again, he kept throwing them, and let's say the officer didn't dodge, just like with the guy with the wrench. It could have hit him in the head if he hadn't moved.
This one,
I'm going to interject.
this one has me.
I'm going to interject with another point of law on the when you're looking at the type of an instrument being used as a weapon. A reasonable person should look at that and would a reasonable person believe that by the manner of use of the wine bottle or any other instrument, could it cause serious bodily injury and or death? And serious bodily injury would be described as a broken bone, protracted loss of a bodily function, brain damage. All that would be considered serious bodily injury, and you have the right to use deadly force to defend yourself against that. So keep that in mind when you're talking about the wine bottle, please.
And I'm going to say yes, because if the bottles break, shards can come at you, and you never know what direction they're going. It's almost like a bomb. When it explodes, it has a whole bunch of shards that just shatter out everywhere. So
What
gotta
about
think about that one.
What about assumptions? Can we assume that there might have been drugs in his system, or he was on drugs of any sort. Because at the very beginning of the 911
You can only
call,
use that to deliberate to the fact that a reasonable person would believe the officers. If you presented evidence that a reasonable person would believe, like, man, this guy's not right, then you can use it for that. But the fact that he was intoxicated or not intoxicated doesn't have a lot to do with the decision you're trying to make. But you can
So
use
Joe,
well,
as a
the reason why I brought that up is simply because the 911 call, the dispatch asked if he was if he looked crazy or something like that, and the response was he was walking around the store staring at everybody.
Right.
So the information that was handed to the officers about that particular thing, to me, it sends a signal to the officers. We could be dealing with somebody that's like on meth, PCP, something along the lines. If he's walking around the store with a knife, and the question was asked.
So Joe, based upon what you've said to qualify it and clarify deadly force is okay with the wine bottle, I have to go then yes, with a reasonable person standard on two.
I'm not telling you that deadly force is allowable like wine bottles in the penal code somewhere. I'm saying that you should look at it. Would a reasonable person believe that the wine bottle could cause serious bodily injury and or death? That's the way you should look at it.
And I just want to know too, you can hear the officers talking at one point saying that, like, put down the knife, tase this, we don't want to use lethal force. Like, they talk it out, not just amongst themselves, but to him, and state these things. And I don't know. I just don't see the guy was going to stop finding objects to try to, cause harm to the officers.
And so then ergo, you're saying that it's justified to use the firearm to take him out or to hit him, to stop him.
I'm so conflicted. They used everything else according from what we saw and what was reported. They used those, the bean ones. They used the tasers. Like, at that point, what else is left other than to discharge your firearm?
What about blasting him with a nightstick? Like engaging with him with a nightstick and blasting him across the head, or taking out his Achilles tendon or from the back. One person. That's tough.
I kind of feel like this. He was throwing wine bottles. I don't think that just running out of the taser doesn't work now or something like that justifies killing someone or shooting or potentially killing them. But I'm gonna have to go back to when he hurt the employee, because obviously he was ready to use deadly force. We might not see those wine bottles flying as deadly force. A reasonable person might be like, the cop dodged him, it's not a big deal. But and in most of those cases, he was kind of far away. It was kind of funny when he came up with the cardboard display box, like that was going to do some big shield or something. But I think that since he hurt that one employee, that gave the officers reason to think that he is intending deadly force.
I agree with you. I just want to point out, y'all, we got 4 minutes on the clock. And we still got number 3 to go over. Do you guys want to go down the line with number 2?
So let's go back to 2. Yeah, let's talk this through. So they tried to do so many things. The taser didn't work. They're trying to talk him out of it. They're chasing him around the store. He's throwing bottles. He's escalating what they're watching him. He's obviously on some type of narcotic or something. He's hopped up. He seems like agitated, not responding in a positive manner. Is it reasonable for them to then escalate to using deadly force, which is the firearm? I guess in light of the circumstances, yeah.
All right. So, Biggie, are you still no on number 2?
No. I was a yes on number 2. I just was stating that I don't think that for effects of time that deadly force can be used. But seeing that the guy used deadly force against that employee, I would not question his intent.
All right, King.
That's a yes for me.
All right, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. They did exactly. I have to agree with Peter, giving them multiple commands. Even throughout the whole incident, they gave him commands, and it's verbalized 24/7. So yes.
Yep. Peter.
Yeah, that's what made me change my answer, is thinking about the totality of the circumstances. Like, they gave him so many chances and he just wasn't complying, and he's getting more aggressive.
Right.
And he's, that's why I say yes.
All right, number 3, y'all. Was it reasonable that the officers believed force was necessary and lawful? I feel like we've already touched upon it also. Peter.
Yes.
Fidji.
Yes.
Mayhem.
Yes.
King.
I'm good. Yes, absolutely yes.
All right, Mr. Joe, we are back with our decision.
Very good. Let's get that down. Clock's down. What is the call of the jury for this case?
No bill.
You know what? I've got such a good producer tonight. I forget about it, and we are actually turning things off and on at the same time. Good job, Big Ron, and my apologies for getting in your way. No bill on our last case. Folks, that is all the cases. We have the 3 cases for the night, or I'm sorry, the 4 cases for the night. That's all we've got for the night. So we can kind of talk freely now. Jason, do you want to make some comments about that last video on?
Oh, hell yes. That was the worst police response I've ever watched in my life. So everybody in the jury, I just want to tell you this: when officers respond to a call, there's a thing called priorities of life, and it's 4 categories. The first priority of life that you need to save is the victims. The second one is the innocent or bystanders. The third one is the officers, and the last one is the suspect. In this case I just watched, you don't bring a taser to a knife fight. He has a gun. They should have went, and he also made the comment of bring a body bunker in. Like, good Lord, this guy's walking around with a goddamn knife. He's clearly mentally ill. He's already hurt somebody. This is deadly force off the bat. That guy in the hallway should have never been hit in the head with a bottle, and then he's throwing bottles at them. Sorry, but this is policing 2025. This was they completely ignored the priorities of life in this case. Lethal force, in my mind, was justified right away when he went in. But Joe, tell me if you agree or not. But I just that
I
one
agree.
did go.
I'll be quite frank with you. I don't think the store employee would have been assaulted, which, by the way, I think that being cracked in the head with a wine bottle is definitely, in Texas, it would be aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And if you crack someone's skull, then it would be serious bodily injury. You're looking at a felony 1. You might as well kill them. You're looking at the same sentencing range in Texas.
So I was super wrong with my analysis. They could have lit him up as soon as that happened.
Let me finish my point. I think that when you go in, that when we talked about the force continuum, the first one is your uniform. The second one is your command presence. You need to have one, not come in, yo, man, what's going on? Oh, man, really? Is it the guy from the other day? Oh, I don't know. Very soft spoken. Everyone was talking about, you're not in trouble. It's okay, man. I think that sometimes you have to be the police when you show up there, and your first level of force is your command presence. And I don't think that we had one in this. And I think that they had that, and Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, you never get to the gun. You never get to even the taser if you handle it right. And I don't think that. Jason's right. That's policing, I guess, in 2025. I disagree with it.
Yeah, they need to walk in there. Sorry. They need to walk in there and be stern in their voice. They need to walk in there and appear to be aggressive. And you're talking with a guy with a knife. And edged weapons, there's a 25-foot rule. I'd walk up to that rule and I would say, you drop the knife. I'm in charge here. This is over right now.
Explain the rule. Explain the 21-foot rule.
So anyway,
25-foot rule.
It might be 21. Anyway, if you're
Yeah, I think it is 21, Joe.
Yeah. So if you're confronting somebody with an edged weapon or a weapon for that matter, it's been proven by case laws and studies over and over again that the time it takes an officer to pull their gun out and respond to somebody charging at you with a knife, they will stab you within 21 feet before you can even respond back to that. So that's kind of been the rule in law enforcement for years. So in this case, I'm going to go back to the verbal commands. He should have came in a little more aggressive in his verbal commands. I would have been swearing to this guy. I would have been like, I'm pissed off. You are not going to hurt anybody right now. You need to get on the ground and be more stern. That's use of force level 1. And even throw some swear words in there. Get everybody the hell out. In this case, cops are so focused on less lethal all the time. And in this case, a guy with a knife and throwing bottles, put your goddamn taser away. This guy's trying to hurt somebody, and you have a guy laying in a hallway who was just beat over the head with a bottle, and he's bleeding. Again, it goes back to life of the innocent, life of the victim. The cops are third, and the suspect is last. He is a public safety concern.
Now, I'll even add to that the officer initially, it ended up the person was just hit with a bottle. But initially, the officer believed that the person was stabbed. And we did see a little tempo pick up. Oh, hang on, he was stabbed. And they started getting a little more aggressive at that point. But I think Jason is 100% correct that you push, when you run into a situation like that, pushing it to the envelope to you're going to do it or you're not, it almost, a lot of times it makes, the decision goes back onto them. What am I going to do? Because this cop's pressing me. I can't get away with it. This is daddy talking, not mama. So I can't get away with it. You're pressing them into that point. But you guys on the jury, I think, want to say something. I know about Peter, you had something about the 21-foot rule.
Yeah, no, what I was saying was that I was wrong in what I was saying, but that I was like, oh, they should give him more of a chance. But looking back on it from what you said, what Jason said, it makes sense, right? 21 foot is no joke. Knives are super dangerous. So I guess they should have been, been more.
Let me say something about the 21-foot rule. We've discussed this for about a year doing this shows. I think we just lost Peter. But we've discussed this for about a year doing these shows. There's 2 videos, one out of Phoenix where a guy has a little girl in a car. He calls the police. He's sitting outside the police station, says somebody needs to come stop me because I'm about to kill this 7-year-old girl. An officer comes out. The guy gets out of a car. He's got to be 30 feet away. It's much more than 21. Before the officer can pull his weapon, the guy comes running at him with a knife. Before he can pull his weapon and say, drop the knife or I'll shoot, he has to step out of the way to shoot the guy. That's how fast it was. Then we saw one about 4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, out of, I think it was out of Arizona as well, maybe California. An officer responds to a trespassing call, and the guy's got his hands in his pocket about 21 feet away, goes at the officer, and the officer loses his life because he catches the blade in his neck. So the 21-foot rule is a real thing. You can prove it in court, and there's plenty of not only studies but actual case studies where 21 feet may not be, maybe 30 is probably a better action with an edged weapon. And I didn't mean to step on top of you with that, Peter, but I did want to say that we've actually seen that in this show. And I've had folks say, put your clock to it. See how long it takes, because this is real-time video. It's not slowed down or it's not sped up. So you can put a clock to it to see how long it takes from them to go to be on target with a knife. It's not very long at all.
Yeah, no, Joe, I totally appreciate that. I trained collie, so I know how deadly bladed weapons are, and that you don't want them. You don't want anybody near you with a blade like that. It's super scary.
It was odd to me at the beginning when the lady comes out of the aisle and goes to turn, and the cop's just like, hey, do you want to go the other way? Do you think you could go that way? Hey guys, and it was so almost like we're sneaking up on them kind of thing. I felt no sense of all right, we're here, game time. We don't know what we're walking into. We're going to get everybody out and we're going to set no, It was like a little suggestion, like, hey, come this way. It wasn't like, hey, get out of this store immediately.
Well,
It
they didn't
was,
go in there to tell anybody what to do. They went in there, started asking a bunch of questions and putting in some requests. But I think it's Jason's point. The police went in there and started telling people what to do. That could have turned out different. I'm not saying it would have, but I think there's a possibility that it didn't go as far as it did.
I do have to agree with Jason when he talks about, the how people, especially with officers, when they're trying to make that decision between not getting in trouble and preservation of life, because when you look at something like that, you have to be quick. You can't just think. You can't really think. You have to, like you said, respond.
Yes, action is always faster than reaction because you've got your process time that you've got to do, but and then commit whatever action you think you need to, appropriate action you need to take.
Yeah, I think especially in this last case we've seen, I think the command and control was extremely important. So whenever they go in there pussyfooting around with these gentle voices, yeah, you guys, why don't you go ahead and move out here? Sir, go ahead and get out of the store. I don't think that was appropriate in my humble opinion. I think that was showing the perp that there's some weakness, that he, whatever he's thinking. And I think, yeah, command and control was the detrimental thing here. Would it change? I don't know.
I agree. It was way too nonchalant. Like, hey, can you go that way? Like, it should have been like, get the hell out of here. And for the dude, it should have been get on the ground, get on the ground. Like, like Jason said, screaming and cursing and taking command.
Yeah, the dude was asking, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He shouldn't have even asked him that. He should have been said, "Get down, or I'm going to shoot you."
No, in that scenario, get the fuck out of here. And I'm walking up with lethal force to this guy, and I'm saying, get your fucking ass on the ground right now. And you have to set that presence. What they did was just so pussyfooting around it. Like, get on this dude's ass and get his ass on the fucking ground now. I mean business.
That was not a bit impressive, was it?
No, I was getting pissed watching it.
I was rather confused watching it at some points because of just how timid and like just, okay, we're all right here. It's gonna be great. It didn't seem like any sense of urgency or like we're getting, like you were saying, Jason, we're here, we're getting shit done, we're in charge, sit down, shut the fuck up. But then like we're over this. You're not in charge anymore.
Let me ask a question now. The dispatcher did ask the questions about, well, does he look crazy or whatever she asked.
She didn't say crazy. Hang on. There's a point to this. She didn't ask if he was crazy. She asked if he thought he was mentally ill or having a mental episode. But this goes into modern policing. If you call, especially a liberal city dispatch, they're going to ask you more time about what gender you are, what color you are, and whether you suffer from, or the suspect suffers from any type of mental illness. And I get why they're trying to do that, but no one ever said he was crazy. It's a question that they're going to ask on in a domestic violence call. My husband's beating my ass. Does he suffer from any mental illness? It's what dispatchers are to do. So I don't know if that has as much to play in this scenario, other than that's a standard question they ask for these types of calls.
Yeah, Joe, that is crazy, man. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask if that information is related from the dispatch to the officers.
Yeah, there's
sorry, Joe. It is, and quite honestly, it doesn't matter. And it goes back to priorities of life. You walk into a situation. If I can de-escalate that, I will try. But in this situation, you have to take control of the scene. I don't care if you have. The dispatcher is not a psychologist. We don't have their prescriptions on hand. We're walking in and we're trying to make the scene safe to protect innocent people, and there's a threat in there. So my point is, if he isn't mentally ill, maybe an aggressive stance on him would have said, oh shit, I'm done. But to allow him to just walk through that grocery store and nonchalantly control the scene, that's where that was horrible. Take control of the scene, make it safe, and then let's talk through what's going on with your life. There's too many people in there to go the route they did.
This is a solid point you just made there, Jason. Hey, folks, we're down at the last minute of our show. I want to give a warm welcome out and an applause to our jury members here for their volunteering. And I want to say it's been the most thoughtful deliberation. Jason, Big Ron, Fidji, you've seen some of these shows. What do you think about the deliberations? Just real quick, I thought it was excellent. Great deliberations tonight and very thoughtful deliberation.
You guys did great. I actually sat back and listened to you guys talk, and you talked it through. I loved hearing it out. You guys did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, even when we knew, like, the first case, even when we all knew how we were going to vote and everything, it was still good to have a discussion on it, because someone could have a point of view that the others aren't seeing. So I really like the analysis that was done throughout the show.
No, my hat's off to you guys. Thank you for volunteering. This is a new format. We'll take another 5 new volunteers. For you guys watching out there, shoot me a DM and I'll get you set up in the jury room, and we'll do it again next Friday. Follow us on YouTube or subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Rumble. Follow us on X, if you will. It doesn't cost you anything, but sure helps us out a lot. We're trying to build our audiences beyond X. But join us again next week for the grand jury. But join us tonight in about 25 minutes on X. If you'd like a DM, personal DM invite to that, send it to myself, Jason, any juror member. We're going to have an after party here in about 25 minutes. We can keep talking about the discussion and keep the conversation going. Once again, hats out and warm thank you to each and every one of you guys that volunteered to do this. You guys were champs.
Appreciate it, Joe. I'll see you in the after party.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
This is
Jason.
great.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks.
You ever get any money from Costello?
No.
And did you ever get any money from Meyer Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these
them
that I've been reading about, or none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of the Fichettes?
No.
You
I
think-
don't even speak to the... I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk to him.
You don't like him?
I was conscious of the fact that he had a reputation for being an outstanding bookmaker.
You ever hear him referred to as the Prime Minister of the Underworld?
That term I did not.
Also known as Duck Corella. I refuse to answer on the grounds of an attempt to... You got any business? I refuse to answer on the grounds of attempt to criminal. You have any profession? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent. You have any occupation? I refuse to answer on the grounds of made intent. Are you a known racketeer?